Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today, we need to look at that other deck I told you about. You see, yesterday I told you that Zacian V was shaping up to be the very best deck in the Sword and Shield metagame. But I also told you that there was another deck that was winning a lot, and placing a lot, and making a lot of waves, and it's Morpeko V. And look, when I looked at the Pokemon V coming out of Sword and Shield, I didn't think Morpeko V was going to be one of the powerhouses. Well, turns out Hit and Run's a powerful thing. Hit and Run has always been a powerful thing. Hitmonchan's been a good deck. Donphan's been a good deck. So apparently if you take Hit and Run, and instead of hitting for a little bit of damage here and there, you instead start hitting for 150 damage. Yeah, apparently that makes a little bit of a difference. And don't worry, I do have more. I've got 3 deck lists to show you at the end of the video. So it really is all built around Morpeko V. Morpeko V, it's really all around the hit and run attack. You do 150 damage for free energy. You discard an energy from this Pokemon and then switch it with one of your benched Pokemon. It's good. It's that's what it does, right? 150 damage, switch to the bench. It is not your only attacker, but it is by far your main attacker. Now, we do have an attack for 1 colorless energy that lets you do 20 to the active and 20 to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. Spread some damage around in the early game, but that's not really what it's here for. And the thing is that at the moment, some people are still playing Custom Catcher, but an awful lot of people are going to play Great Catcher as their gusting of choice. And oh look, that won't let you gust up Morpeko V, because Morpeko V is neither an EX nor a GX Pokemon. Because of course we don't have much energy acceleration for lightning decks. Yeah, Pikachu and Zekrom's got lightning acceleration, but you're not playing Pikachu and Zekrom. This is a Morpeko V deck. Now what you have is Thundermountain Prism Star and Tapu Koko Prism Star. That's how you get the energy on Morpeko V. You use Thundermountain Prism Star to reduce your attack cost by 1. You use Tapu Koko to accelerate 1 lightning energy to each of 2 bench Morpeko. And then you keep flicking to the bench, which means your Morpeko don't get KO'd, which gives you time to manually attach to new Morpeko. And that's how the deck works. Now, of course, you're a hit and run deck. You hit and switch to the bench. You need something to put up in your stead. That's where Clefairy comes in. And Clefairy is absolutely crucial here. Clefairy is an item card that works as a 30 HP Pokemon, but doesn't give up a prize. And if you want to get it out of the active, you can put it on bottom of your deck and reuse it later. You don't have to discard it. It's just brilliant, ladies and gentlemen. This is how you're able to get away with this, because you whack this in the active, and essentially there are 4 turns where your opponent is attacking and just not taking a prize, where they're attacking and they're not getting anything for it. And you can't really recover these item cards at the moment, which is a little bit sad. But there's essentially 4 turns where they're not taking a prize, and then you feed them single prize attackers. And okay, at that point they are taking a prize, but essentially, right, it takes them 10 turns to take 6 prizes. That's assuming a KO every turn, while you're 1-hit KOing non-GXs and 2-hit KOing everything else. Yeah, that works quite nicely. Now, Morpeko V is nice, but we do see 2 of the 3 lists, at least, do actually play 1 copy of Morpeko V Max. 2 lightning, 1 colorless energy, 180, and 20 damage to each of your opponent's bench Pokemon. It's not the real hook of the deck here, but the fact of the matter is, spreading damage to all your opponent's Pokemon is good. Hitting 180 is more than you're hitting normally. So essentially, this just gives you an option. It's the same attack cost as Morpeko, so this does give you an option of going, right, I need a big attack, I'm going to V Max now. It's not a giant part of the strategy, but it's nice to have as an option. Now, in terms of other Pokemon, Tapu Koko Prism Star is absolutely vital, but there are a few others we want to play. Jirachi is a brilliant call here, as it is in almost every deck at the moment. You need to switch something into the active, so you whack up Jirachi, and then essentially you can look at the top 5 cards of your deck, find a trainer card, put it in your hand. You can either put Jirachi up after hitting with Morpeko, or you put Clefairy up, and if your opponent KOs it, put up Jirachi, use the ability Retreat, obviously using a skateboard, and if your opponent doesn't KO it, you put Clefairy on the bottom of your deck, which does not count as retreating, put Jirachi up, retreat into Morpeko. Whether they KO Clefairy or not, you're going to get a free use of Jirachi. That's pretty good. We do see some of these decks playing Zapdos. Zapdos can do 80 damage for a single energy, which is quite nice, but it's also just a fairly bulky basic Pokemon. Make your opponent work for those KOs. But it's also nice when you've got a free energy Pokemon with limited energy acceleration. If everything goes well, it's not going to be a problem. If everything goes badly, you want a single energy attacker. This is where we go. Now, we do also see some people playing Absol. That's really more to stop your opponent retreating rather than specifically something to whack in the active. And we do see one of the decks, at least, playing Zero Aura GX, but Zero Aura GX isn't really thrown up there. I mean, look, it gives up 2 prizes, right? But it gives all of your other Pokemon free retreat if they've got a lightning energy attached, so it means that you can retreat Pokemon really, really easily. Do remember you can always whack an Island Challenge Amulet on, as the deck list we're going to see plays both of them, and that's going to work quite nicely. We do also see Tapu Koko V seeing a little bit of play. Again, that gives up 2 prizes, but it can do 200 damage for free energy and has free retreat. That's pretty good. We see Oricorio getting a little bit of love here. And the thing is, right, Oricorio is just really nice as a draw card. Now, this can be dragged into the active using a Great Catcher, so you have to be extremely careful. But if you had a Pokemon KO'd last turn, you get to draw 3 cards. Yes, that includes Lily's Pokédoll. Yeah. They KO it, they don't take a prize, then you get to draw 3 cards next turn. That sounds good to me. And then we do see one of the lists did play just a single copy of Marshadow. It's all right against Ultra Beast, but more likely it's there to get rid of your opponent's stadiums, which can be a pain. Now, in terms of energy cost here, you're playing Lightning Energy. Brilliant, let's move on. In terms of trainer cards here, there are a bunch that really help you out, and a couple of them came around in Sword and Shield. Quick Ball is a given here. You'll notice that all the cards I told you about, all the Pokemon here, they're all basic. Being able to discard a card from your hand and search any basic Pokemon's pretty big. But we also see at least one of the lists playing Lucky Egg. Now, Lucky Egg, great card. It's a reprint of the one from Arceus, does exactly the same thing. If it's attached to a Pokemon and that Pokemon is knocked out by damage, you draw 2, you got 7 cards in your hand. Yes, that will also work for Clefairy though. Oh, I'll see how that worked out. Now, Electro Power's a really good shout here. Lets you do an extra 30 damage with your Lightning Pokemon. It means that Morpeko, instead of 2-hit KOing all the GXs, with 1 Electro Power, you 1-hit KO Blacephalon. With 2, you 1-hit KO Naganadel, etc. This can help you hit the numbers really quite nicely. We also see, well, quite a range of stuff. I mean, Switch becomes pretty good for fairly obvious reasons. You're switching in and out of the active, you need this. But we also see Volkner. Volkner lets you search for a basic Lightning Energy and an item card. Yeah, you can use it to get a bunch of stuff, but being able to search out your Clefairy doll very, very easily, that is going to make your life significantly easier. It's going to be a rather large advantage. We do see a little bit of energy switch here. As you're accelerating energy using Tapu Koko, this can be good. Do remember, and it's not a new combo, we've been using it since Pikachu and Zekrom came out, since Team Up. Just use Tapu Koko to accelerate 2 energy, and then energy switch one over, so you can essentially get free energy in one turn without even having to rely on Thunder Mountain Prism Star. It can be a rather large bonus. We do actually see some players here using recycle energy. Do remember that Morpeko does have a colorless cost in its energy, and then we can search it out with Guzma and Hala. Also searches out a stadium and a Pokemon tool, although tools aren't huge here. Really Lucky Egg is the best one we've got. But it's still quite nice to be able to have an energy which keeps flicking back to your hand that you've always got ready to go, and that is very easily searched out. In terms of stadiums, really everyone just seems to be playing Viridian Forest. That's pretty much the only stadium we're seeing here. Obviously Thunder Mountain Prism Star is a given. Viridian Forest is just really nice for grabbing your energy. It's as simple as that. Can also discard an energy in the early game which might be useful for Tapu Koko. Now, in terms of gusting over the free list, we actually see the full gambit. We see Custom Catcher, we see Great Catcher, we also see Pokemon Catcher. It's gusting on a coin flip, and this is all just a way of saying that because Morpeko isn't hitting a huge amount of damage, being able to gust can be rather huge and rather important. And I should mention that the decks do also tend to play Marnie, which is lovely, given that, of course, Marnie and Morpeko are very much a pair in the video games. Both players put their hand face down, shuffle them, and put them on the bottom of their deck. You draw 5 cards, your opponent draws 4. Slows your opponent down, and it's a nice little shuffle draw card for you. And for your opponent, but they get fewer cards, so it slows them down. Yay! And the last card I really want to bring your attention to here is Rosa. Rosa is another one of these cards that is uniquely positioned to take advantage of Clefairy Doll. If one of your Pokemon was KO'd last turn, search for a trainer card, a basic energy, and a Pokemon. That's going to help you out massively. And Rosa, and Lucky Egg, and Oricorio, they're all cheating a little bit because you can use them after a KO, and you're using them after a KO that wasn't really a KO, but that doesn't matter. It totally counts. Looking at the list here, number 1 is the one that plays Tapu Koko V, and we also see Island Challenge Amulet, and as we've seen, we've got that 1 copy of Morpeko V Max there, and actually a couple of Dedenne for a little bit of extra added consistency, which we don't see in the other lists. Looking at the second list here, again, we got a free 1 Morpeko split. We got 2 Oricorio, and there is actually a big charm here to give you an extra 30 HP, but nothing massively out of the ordinary here. And looking at the third list here, it is even more straightforward than the others, though we do see a couple of Zapdos, and we do see a Marshadow. It is a very nice deck. It is one that on the face of it, I did not think was going to smash. Well, I have been proven rather wrong, ladies and gentlemen. This deck is amazing, and it's already seeing a lot of play and success. But I'd like to know what you think, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, be nice, and then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassyPlays, where we talk about games that don't have Pokemon in. But by far the most important thing is always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.